Hi, thank you for joining me on another video where I inform you of labor-related issues. Today I want to talk about the referral form, the form that you have to complete when you file your dispute with the CCMA or with the bargaining council. It's called 711. You'll see at the top it's written 7.11, 711. Now this is the form that you need to complete when you file your dispute. It will ask you a few questions, the basic questions. Your details, your name, your ID number, age, contact details, and so forth. But I also want to point out some of the mistakes that people make or errors that they commit and which could be costly for you. Either that it delays the process to finalize your case, or for that matter, your case might not even be heard at the CCMA or at the bargaining council. Now, first of all, when you write this form, please be legible as possible, because one mistake, particularly when it comes to emails, if your email address is not clear, then you might not get the correspondence that you are supposed to receive. You write your name as it appears in your ID and provide your ID number. If you do not have an ID number, then you'll provide your work permit number. Then you'll complete your contact details. You can also provide more contact details, either of family members, in case you are not reachable in the contact details that you have provided. If you're filling the form for a member as a union, then you'll indicate the union name, and you'll indicate on behalf of so and so, and then you'll complete those details. But for the union officials, they are used to this. I'm more concerned about people who are doing these things on their own, and they might commit mistakes. Now, if it is more than one people who wants to refer the matter, you will indicate it is Mary M and two others and three others, and the rest of other peoples who are in a dispute, who are in a dispute, you'll have to complete another form wherein you write your names, your ID number, and sign, and that will be part of the referral form. That is very, very important. Now, the other issue where a lot of people make mistakes on it is when they cite the employer. Who is the employer? Of course, the employer is the company or the person that you work for. But sometimes people make a mistake of citing the client as the employer, unless it is a different dispute where the client should be cited as the employer. For instance, these mistakes come across, we see them rather when, for instance, a cleaner, if you're a cleaner and you work in a particular store or a bank, then most people, instead of saying the company that they are working for, the cleaning company is the employer, then they will indicate that it is that particular bank or that supermarket or whatever the case might be. However, you can mention the name of the employer if you're working for that person in a domestic situation. If you work for Mr. X in his home as a domestic worker or as a gardener, or if he's a farmer, then you can mention his name. But under normal circumstances, you mention the name of the institution or the name of the company. And another problem is that people, even if in an institution or in a company, people will indicate the name of the manager or the supervisor who might have uttered the words that you are fired or you are dismissed or whatever it is. But remember, both of you work for the same institution or for the same company, okay? As you go on, you will realize that the form requires of you to indicate the nature of the dispute. This is another area where people make mistakes, in that you have to indicate what is your dispute. Remember, different disputes should be referred in terms of different statutes. Sometimes a person will indicate that the case is about a dismissal, and tick that, and tick also that it is unfair labor practice, and also it is about, for instance, severance pay. So you have to take only one dispute, and the form will ask you to elaborate if you need to. But do not take so many disputes, only one dispute per referral form. Because if you mix them up, or if you include so many, it becomes difficult even to consider the time frames that we spoke of. Look out for that video, because we don't know which one is applicable, because you have indicated so many. Okay, and it makes it even difficult for those who are processing your referral form to indicate what is the nature of your dispute. Okay, so if you intend to refer two different disputes, then you have to complete two different referral forms. Then another question that you would come across in that form is the date and when and where the dispute arose. Remember, this is also a jurisdictional question. When the dispute arose, let's say if it is a dismissal or unfair labor practice, because we have to determine whether your referral is within the prescribed period or not. You have to indicate when it took place, as well as where. Remember, the offices of the CCMA and also bargaining council, they've got demarcation in terms of which area you should refer your case and where it can be heard. For instance, at the CCMA, if you worked in Gauteng and you stay in Western Cape, your case should be heard in Gauteng unless there is an application that has been approved for it to be heard in your hometown. Okay. Going forward, it will ask you for a summary of your dispute. You don't have to say much. If it asks you that is your case, was your alleged unfair dismissal substantively unfair, then you will indicate as briefly as you can. And then going forward, it is simply for statistic purpose, the sector that you're working in. The other question that you have to answer is the issue of the interpreter, if you are going to use an interpreter. If you are not comfortable in English, then you'll indicate what language you would prefer to speak, and so that there is a provision made for an interpreter to be made available. Then you'll be asked to sign those forms and sign them and indicate the date and the place. And when you are done with these forms, and remember, if there is additional employees who are referring the case, that list of that employees should also be part of that referral form. Now, when you are done, make copies of this application as a whole. Make a copy for yourself, and the other copy, send it to the employer. Now, when you send it to the employer, preferably use the contact details that you have included in that referral form. You can serve the employer by sending the copy through email, through registered mail, through fax, or you can deliver this through by hand. And if that is the case, they have to sign it on that referral form and put a stamp if necessary. And that would be the proof that the other party has been served. If it is through fax, you get the fax transmission report, and email you also get whatever is printed out to show that the document has been sent to the other party. With that, you send it to the bargaining council or to the CCMA, and when they have received everything, only then will they process your dispute, and then within few days you'll obtain the case number and probably an invitation to attend the matter for conciliation. I hope it assists you as to how you should complete the form and all these tips that I've given you relating to the referral form. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye-bye.